Hi everyone, we're Mimicker, here to introduce all kinds of knowledge, even the stuff we didn't know about. Get ready, because summer 2025 is bringing us something truly epic. F1, the movie.
Oh yeah, I've been hearing the buzz about this one.
Exactly. This isn't just any sports drama. We're talking about a cinematic powerhouse starring none other than Brad Pitt.
Brad Pitt in an F1 car sounds promising already.
Right, and behind the camera, the dream team that gave us Top Gun, Maverick director Joseph Kosinski and producer Jerry Bruckheimer are at the helm.
Okay, so the Top Gun Maverick team, that definitely raises expectations. They know how to do action and drama.
Totally. And what makes this film sort of unprecedented is the level of collaboration. We're talking the FIA, the governing body.
The actual FIA, wow.
Yeah. And real F1 teams. Actual drivers are involved, too. Lewis Hamilton is even a producer.
Hamilton as a producer, that's serious commitment to authenticity.
It really is. And apparently they've adapted racing sequences from real-life Grand Prix weekends. So it blurs the lines between, fiction and reality. Should be pretty immersive.
Adapting real race footage, that's fascinating. A new way to film racing.
Now, the core plot itself is pure drama, like perfect for a deep dive. It's this comeback story.
Okay, tell me more.
It's about an aging American racing driver, Sonny Hayes. He returns to Formula One after, get this, a staggering 30-year absence.
30 years, that's basically impossible in F1 terms. The sport changes so much.
Exactly. And he's doing it to save his former teammate's underdog team, APXGP, from basically collapsing.
So high stakes on and off the track.
Huge stakes. And his past. It's pretty dark. He had severe injuries from a crash way back in '93 at the Spanish Grand Prix.
Ah, okay. So career-ending stuff back then.
Yep. Ended his F1 career abruptly, led him into this sort of nomadic life, gambling addiction, even 3 lost marriages.
Wow. So a genuinely troubled past makes the comeback even more dramatic.
Right. Truly against all odds. Makes it super compelling for the big screen. But as exciting as that cinematic journey promises to be, it kind of begs a fascinating question, doesn't it?
Which is,
what does it really take to be an F1 driver? Especially one trying a comeback after decades away from the sport's, cutting edge.
yeah, the physical and mental evolution of the sport in 30 years is just enormous.
Exactly. So today we're going on a deep dive into the profound scientific realities behind Formula One. We want to reveal why these drivers are truly among the most elite athletes on the planet.
It's so much more than just steering a fast car.
Totally. This isn't just about driving. It's about pushing the absolute limits of human capability.
And what's truly fascinating here, I think, is how the common perception, that F1 drivers are just passengers. It's such a massive underestimation.
Completely wrong.
We're drawing today from a pretty comprehensive scientific analysis. It's titled The Pinnacle of Performance, a scientific analysis of why Formula One drivers are elite athletes.
Okay, sounds thorough.
It really is. It completely deconstructs that myth,
Yes.
arguing that an F1 driver is this unique hybrid athlete.
A hybrid. How so?
Well, they're simultaneously an endurance athlete, like a marathon runner, a fighter pilot in terms of reaction and G-force tolerance, and a strength athlete.
Wow. All 3 rolled into one.
Exactly. And that's not just like a convenient analogy. The science backs it up. It's a summation of the multifaceted, extreme demands placed on them.
So for you, our curious listener, what does this all mean for what we'll uncover today?
What's the mission?
Right. Our mission today is to unpack the relentless, sustained, and multifaceted extreme pressures these human beings face.
From every angle, basically.
Yeah. Intense cardiovascular loads, body-warping G-forces, those scorching cockpit environments, severe tests of cognitive function, all of it.
It's a whole constellation of stressors.
We'll reveal how F1 isn't just a union of man and machine, but really the highest attainable realm of human, physiological, and psychological potential at extreme velocity.
Peeling back the layers.
Exactly. We're going to peel back those layers and truly understand what it means to be one of these extraordinary individuals. And maybe, just maybe, what kind of superhuman Sonny Hayes would have to be to make that fictional comeback real. Okay, let's start with the very core of their physical output. When we think of an F1 car, we often hear that engine roaring.
That iconic sound, yeah.
But we rarely consider the engine inside the driver, their heart. Our sources reveal a staggering truth about the cardiovascular demands. It's not just about quick bursts, is it?
Not at all. It's about sustained, incredibly high-intensity output for almost 2 hours.
2 hours. That's a long time at high intensity.
You've hit on a crucial point there. The data is incredibly illuminating about the sheer endurance required. During a typical Grand Prix, which, can last almost 2 hours, a driver's average heart rate is sustained at an astonishing 140 to 170 beats per minute.
140 to 170.
Average. For the whole race. To put that into perspective, they're operating at 74% to 82% of their maximum heart rate for the vast majority of that time.
That's like threshold training zone, but for 2 hours straight.
Precisely. This isn't a casual jog. It's a physiological state remarkably similar to what an elite marathon runner experiences during their entire competition.
Wow. A marathon runner's effort, but sitting down.
Yeah.
Sort of.
Well, sitting down but under immense physical and mental strain. Imagine maintaining that intensity lap after lap for an hour and a half to 2 hours.
It's hard to even picture.
And then consider what that means for someone like Sonny Hayes, who's been out of that specific extreme environment for 30 years. The cardiovascular adaptation needed would be immense.
Just getting the heart conditioned again.
It's a huge first step, but it gets even more intense than just the average.
More intense. How?
Well, during those critical adrenaline-fueled moments, the start of the race, aggressive overtaking maneuvers, defending a position, or reacting to some unexpected incident on track.
Right, the peak stress points.
Exactly. A driver's heart rate can spike dramatically. We're talking peak heart rates easily reaching 180 to 210 BPM.
210 beats per minute? It's pushing the absolute limit for most people.
It is. That's 92% to 99% of their maximum heart rate. This clearly demonstrates that not only do F1 drivers need incredible endurance, but they also possess this formidable cardiorespiratory capacity to perform repeated anaerobic sprints and near maximal efforts even when their body is already experiencing extreme fatigue.
So they can sprint even when they're exhausted from the endurance effort.
That's the key. One study, for instance, it detailed an F1 driver with a theoretical max heart rate of 200 BPM. At the green light, just bam, his heart rate shot up from resting to an astounding 173 BPM in mere seconds.
Instantaneous jump.
Pretty much. And throughout the race, his average heart rate stabilized, but still high, between 148 and 163 BPM. This kind of cardiac response is a definitive marker of an elite athlete in a high-pressure, competitive environment.
It's astounding they can maintain those heart rates for so long.
Yeah.
But that kind of output must correspond to colossal energy expenditure, right?
Yeah.
And a shocking amount of weight loss, too.
Absolutely. You can't have that level of cardiac output without massive energy demands.
What are the numbers like?
They're immense. A driver will burn an average of 1,200 to 1,500 kilocalories during a single 90-minute to 2-hour race.
1,200 to 1,500 calories.
Yep.
In less than 2 hours.
Yep. And on particularly demanding circuits, like the incredibly hot and humid Singapore Grand Prix, well, that figure can even approach 2,000 kilocal.
2,000 calories. That really is like running a full marathon.
It's a very comparable level of calorie consumption. And when you factor in the entire race weekend, practice sessions, qualifying the total energy expenditure can be as high as 5,000 kilocalories.
5,000 over a weekend. That's incredible fuel consumption.
It's a sustained athletic effort that few other sports can match. And it means the body is constantly, on the brink of depletion, if not managed perfectly.
Okay, so huge calorie burn, but you mentioned weight loss, too. That sounds more worrying.
It is, because it's exactly due to the scorching cockpit temperatures, which we'll get into, and the intense physical exertion, drivers sweat profusely. In a hot and humid race, it's common for a driver to lose anywhere from 3 to 5 liters of fluid.
3 to 5 liters. That's a huge amount.
It translates directly to a stunning drop in body weight, typically 2 to 5 kilograms.
Which is like, what, 4.4 to 11 pounds?
Precisely. After a single Grand Prix.
11 pounds lost in under 2 hours. That's terrifying.
And this is a crucial point. This weight loss isn't healthy fat burning, it's severe dehydration.
And dehydration impacts performance, right?
Massively. Sports science tells us that even a 2% loss of body weight due to dehydration begins to impair both physical and cognitive performance.
Okay, so for a typical driver, say 70 kilos.
For a 70-kilogram driver, 2% is just 1.4 kilograms. So when a driver loses 3 kilograms, which is over 4% of their body weight, they are actively competing in a compromised physiological and cognitive state.
Especially later in the race, I imagine.
Exactly, particularly in the later stages. Imagine trying to maintain millimeter-perfect control and zero-error judgment at 300 kilometers per hour when your body and mind are already struggling from significant fluid deficit.
It sounds almost impossible. a monumental test of resilience.
It really is. And it makes you wonder what kind of rehydration and recovery protocol someone like Sonny Hayes would need just to finish a modern F1 race after being out for 30 years. The body just wouldn't be used to that level of fluid stress.
So it's clearly not just simple physical exertion driving these incredible heart rates then. Our sources describe something called a pressure triangle of stressors that act simultaneously on the driver. What exactly constitutes this?
That's right. And understanding this pressure triangle is absolutely key to grasping the full picture of why F1 is so demanding. It's not just one thing.
Okay, bring it down for us. What's the first leg?
The first leg is psycho-emotional stress. Formula One is one of the most elite and fiercely competitive sports globally. There's immense pressure to perform.
The constant scrutiny.
Exactly. The desire for victory, the ever-present fear of making a costly mistake, and, let's be honest, the very real mortal danger involved in racing at such speeds.
Yeah, you can't ignore that.
All of that leads to a massive release of stress hormones like adrenaline, and that significantly elevates heart rate independent of the physical work.
So the mental stress directly impacts the physical response.
Absolutely. Studies have consistently shown that a driver's heart rate is dramatically higher in a competitive race scenario compared to simply driving alone, even at the same speed. It proves how much psychological factors contribute.
Okay, so psycho-emotional stress. What's the second leg of the triangle?
The second leg is the thermoregulatory load. As we'll discuss more later, the F1 cockpit is an extremely hot environment, often 50, 60 degrees Celsius.
Like a sauna, you said.
Pretty much. To dissipate the immense heat generated by their own bodies metabolically and also absorbed from the car, the heart has to work much harder.
Why?
It has to pump large volumes of blood to the skin's surface to facilitate cooling through sweat evaporation. This increased circulatory demand, solely aimed at maintaining a safe core body temperature, places an enormous additional stress on the cardiovascular system.
So the heart's working overtime just to keep the driver from overheating?
Exactly, before you even factor in the driving itself.
Sounds good, leg.
And finally, the third leg is the physical and G-force load. To counteract the immense G-forces generated during braking, acceleration, and especially cornering.
Which we'll get into more detail on, I assume.
Oh, yes. The driver's entire body, their neck, core, limbs, must engage in continuous isometric and eccentric muscular contractions, holding against those forces.
So constant muscle tension.
Sustained, intense muscular activity. This demands a substantial supply of oxygen and energy, which directly increases the cardiac load. The heart has to work harder again to supply these highly active muscle groups.
So it's a three-way assault on the cardiovascular system.
Precisely. Mental stress, heat stress, and physical G-force stress all hitting at once.
Is there data showing how much difference the real-world stress makes compared to, say, a simulator?
There is, actually, and it's quite stark. One study directly compared a driver's physiological responses on a real track versus in a high-fidelity simulator.
Okay, and the results?
In the simulator, where you lack the real G-forces and that intense psychological pressure of life-or-death competition, the driver's physiological response was significantly blunted.
How much lower?
Get this. In the final 50 minutes of that study, the average heart rate during real racing was a staggering 159 BPM
Okay.
compared to just 112 BPM in the simulator.
Wow. That's a huge difference. Nearly 50 beats per minute.
Massive discrepancy. It clearly proves that it is the real-world G-forces and the intense psycho-emotional stress that truly push the physiological challenge of F1 driving to its absolute limit. The simulator just can't replicate that fully.
So when you put it all together,
When you look at all these elements together, an F1 driver's heart is far more than just a pump supplying power for muscle movement. It's almost like a central processor.
managing multiple crises at once.
Exactly. Simultaneously managing this triple crisis of physical exertion, extreme heat, and immense mental pressure. This unique multi-system composite load demands that drivers possess a cardiovascular system that is not only powerful, but also incredibly adaptable, far beyond what you typically find in a single discipline endurance athlete.
So the metrics we talked about, the high heart rates, the calorie burn, the dehydration, they all point to this complex load.
They really underscore this point, highlighting the F1 driver's heart as this central processor managing a constant high-stakes physiological challenge.
Okay, so if the heart in the endurance engine, then the body itself has to be like an impenetrable fortress against physics.
That's a great way to put it.
The forces these drivers withstand, lap after lap, for nearly 2 hours, they sound truly mind-boggling. It's not just about speed. It's about surviving and thriving under extreme physical duress.
You're absolutely right. To truly appreciate the physical demands, we really need to understand G-force.
Right. Define it for us quickly.
Simplest terms. 1G is just the normal force of gravity we feel standing here on Earth. In an F1 car, however, drivers experience G-forces that are both extreme in magnitude and multi-directional.
So attacking them from all angles.
Pretty much. Assaulting their bodies from every angle, making every single lap a physical battle.
Let's talk specifics. Braking.
Okay, braking G-force. When an F1 car brakes at full force from speeds exceeding 300 kilometers per hour, which is, 186 miles per hour?
Yeah, incredibly fast.
The driver endures a brutal deceleration of up to 5 to 6 G.
5 to 6 times the force of gravity, just stopping.
Just stopping. This means that every single organ, every muscle, even the blood in their body is subjected to a forward force equivalent to 5 to 6 times their own body weight.
How does that compare to other extreme situations?
Well, to put that in perspective, this figure actually surpasses the approximately 3G of deceleration experienced during a space shuttle's re-entry into Earth's atmosphere.
More than a space shuttle reentry.
Oh, wow. And it's comparable to the G-forces endured by fighter pilots during aggressive maneuvers. Imagine being slammed against your restraints with that kind of force, repeatedly, corner after corner.
Brutal. Okay, what about cornering? That must be intense, too.
Oh, yeah. Cornering G-force. In high-speed corners, drivers have to combat immense lateral G-forces, sideways forces that try to pull them out of their seats and away from the steering wheel.
How high do those get?
Modern F1 cars can generate 5 to 6 G of lateral acceleration in fast corners. Similar numbers to braking, but sideways.
And peak forces.
On certain legendary tracks, like the iconic Turn 1 at Suzuka in Japan, or the infamous Eau Rouge sequence at Spa-Francorchamps in Belgium, peak G-forces can even reach an astonishing 7G.
7G sideways. How do they even hold on?
Under a sustained 5G lateral force, the driver's body is violently slammed against the side of the cockpit. It requires immense core and neck strength just to counteract it and maintain control.
You mentioned the neck. That seems like it would take the biggest beating.
It's perhaps the most severe test, yeah. Think about it. The combined weight of a driver's head and helmet is approximately 6.5 to 7 kilograms.
Okay, around 15 pounds.
Right. But under a force of 5G, the neck muscles must support an effective weight of 30 to 40 kilograms.
Wait, 30 to 40 kilos? That's 66 to 88 pounds.
Exactly. 88 pounds that your neck muscles have to support and control, while also dealing with vibrations and rapid changes in direction.
That's like hanging a massive dumbbell from your head.
It's a pretty good analogy. And sustaining that for nearly 2 hours, that's the daily reality for an F1 driver.
So their neck strength must be off the charts.
It has to be astounding. Research has actually shown that the neck strength of F1 drivers, particularly in lateral flexion side-to-side movement, is an astonishing 40% to 60% stronger than that of Finnish Air Force fighter pilots.
Stronger than fighter pilots' necks. That's incredible.
It really highlights the unique demands. And when you think about Sonny Hayes trying to make his comeback, just the physical rebuilding required for his neck to handle modern F1 forces after 30 years, that would be a monumental task in itself.
Absolutely. It's incredible to think about just passively withstanding those forces, but they also have to actively control the car under these conditions. That demands incredible precision and power.
That's a critical distinction, yeah. They aren't just passengers absorbing impacts. They're actively manipulating the car while these insane forces are ripping at them.
Let's look at the braking force required. You said 5-6G deceleration, but what does the driver actually have to do?
Okay, this is unique to F1. The cars lack a servo-assisted braking system, like your road car has.
No power brakes, seriously.
Seriously, all the braking force must be generated directly by the driver's left leg.
How much force are we talking about?
In each heavy braking zone, a driver has to apply an astonishing 75 to 150 kilograms of force to the brake pedal.
165 to 330 pounds.
Whoa.
With one leg. Repeatedly.
Repeatedly. And some data even suggests peaks of up to 180 kilograms. That's nearly 400 pounds of force.
That's unbelievable leg strength required.
It requires not only explosive power and muscular endurance to apply it corner after corner, lap after lap, but also supreme precision.
Precision, while stomping with 400 pounds of force.
Exactly. While applying this immense force, the driver's modulation of the pedal pressure has to be as delicate and nuanced as a concert pianist, as the source puts it.
Why so delicate?
Because any minute error in pressure, Applying slightly too much or too little could lock the tires. That costs valuable time, ruins the tires, or could even cause a race-ending accident.
So brute strength combined with ballerina-like control.
That's a good way to think about it.
Okay, what about steering force? You mentioned power steering earlier.
They do have power-assisted steering, yes, but turning the wheel under those immense G-loads still demands significant strength from the driver.
Even with assistance.
Even with assistance. Their upper body, shoulders, and forearms must be exceptionally strong to execute precise steering inputs while the car is flying through corners at 5 or 6G.
And they're fighting feedback from the road too, right?
Absolutely. They're fighting the violent feedback transmitted through the steering wheel from the tires and the track surface. While real-world steering torque data is complex and varies a lot, high-end professional simulators used for driver training feature steering wheels with torque outputs of 15 to 25 Newton meters or even more.
How much is that, practically speaking?
It's a significant twisting force, much, much more than you'd experience even with non-power steering in a normal car. You're really wrestling the wheel. It's a constant battle against physics.
It was clear they're not just hitting the gym doing general workouts. How does all this translate into their actual training? They must be building this hyper-specific anti-G body.
That's exactly the goal.
For what the sources call fatigue-resistant precision. It sounds like a highly engineered approach to human physiology.
It absolutely is. Their training philosophy is incredibly scientific and specialized. The core objective is creating that anti-G physique.
Not just getting big muscles.
No, the goal of an F1 driver strength training is not massive muscle size or aesthetics. It's all about fatigue-resistant precision.
Can you explain that a bit more?
Sure. They need to repeatedly output near maximal force, braking, steering, holding their head up for 2 hours, while maintaining microscopic control over those inputs. Neuromuscular fatigue is a major threat here.
How does fatigue cause errors?
When muscles fatigue, the signals from the brain to the muscles become less precise, less coordinated. This can lead to subtle but potentially catastrophic errors, locking a brake by applying just a fraction too much pressure or overcorrecting the steering slightly.
Mistakes that cause time or cause crashes.
Exactly. Therefore, the true purpose of their training is to build a human-machine interface, their body, that can maintain stable output and precise control even under extreme physiological stress, like high Gs, heat, and dehydration.
So the training prevents those fatigue-induced errors.
That's the idea, building that resistance.
Let's get specific. How do they train that ridiculously strong neck?
Okay, neck training is critical and highly specialized, as you'd expect. They use specialized neck training harnesses.
Like a harness for your head?
Yeah, connected to cables or resistance bands. These apply resistance from various angles, front, back, left, right, to simulate the multi-directional G-forces they endure.
So strengthening in all directions.
Precisely. An even more extreme method involves the driver lying on a bench with their head suspended off the edge.
Okay.
With a weight plate of up to 30 kilograms or 66 pounds attached to their helmet. They then use their neck strength to resist gravity and control the movement.
Lying down, lifting 66 pounds with your neck, that's intense.
It is. And for dynamic simulation training, they even practice by driving go-karts while wearing a custom-weighted helmet.
A heavy helmet in a go-kart.
Yeah, maybe 1.5 to 2 kilograms heavier than a standard one. Go-karts themselves generate considerable G-force, especially around the neck and shoulders. The added weight effectively simulates the intense neck loads experienced in an F1 car, providing real-world type preparation in a more controlled environment.
Okay, neck covered. What about the rest of the body? Core strength.
Beyond the neck, a strong and stable core is fundamental. It's crucial for withstanding G-forces throughout the entire body and for maintaining proper posture for extended periods in that cramped cockpit.
What kind of exercises? Planks?
Lots of planks, yes. Also, medicine ball slams, anti-rotational movements using cables or bands. Anything that builds core stability and rotational strength.
And the legs and arms for braking and steering.
For their leg and upper body training, the focus for legs is on providing explosive power and endurance for the relentless braking demands.
So squats, deadlifts.
Key exercises include squats, deadlifts, lunges, and particularly unilateral leg presses, single leg presses, emphasizing the strength required for that single braking leg.
Makes sense. And upper body.
Upper body, exercises like pull-ups, bench presses, various types of rows. They used to build strong shoulders, back, and arms to handle the precise steering inputs and maintain overall body stability within the car.
It sounds like there's been a real shift over time.
Oh, definitely. A deeper look at these training methods reveals this fascinating co-evolution of man and machine.
How so?
Well, the aerodynamic technology of F1 cars has advanced rapidly over the decades. G-force limits have increased from maybe 2G in the early days to over 6G, even 7G today.
So the cars got faster and grippier.
Exactly. And this technological evolution of the car has quite literally forced the driver to evolve from being perhaps more of an operator in the past
Mm-hmm.
into the highly specialized elite athlete they are today. The unique training methods they employ are custom designed to solve the unique physiological challenges that motorsport engineering poses to the human body.
So the driver had to get fitter just to handle the improved car.
Precisely. This dynamic reciprocal relationship between car and driver is essential to understanding the pinnacle of performance that F1 represents. And it really highlights the challenge Sonny Hayes faces in the movie, trying to return to a sport that has physically transformed so dramatically since his last race. The driver of today is a different breed.
Okay, beyond the heart and muscles, there's another invisible adversary that relentlessly attacks F1 drivers. Extreme heat.
Ah, yes, the mobile sauna.
Exactly. The cockpit is truly a mobile sauna, and enduring it for 2 hours while performing at an absolute limit is another layer of superhuman endurance that we rarely consider.
That's a very apt description. The F1 cockpit is an incredibly hostile thermal environment.
How hot does it actually get?
During a race, the temperature inside the cockpit frequently reaches a sweltering 50 to 60 degrees Celsius.
122 to 140 degrees Fahrenheit. That is a sauna.
It is, and this is particularly severe during races held in hot and humid locations like Singapore or Qatar. The experience is indeed akin to being sealed inside one.
Where does all that heat come from? Is it just the sun?
Some comes from the external environment, like direct sun exposure on the track, sure, but primarily it comes from the car itself.
The car's components.
Yeah, in the relentless pursuit of ultimate aerodynamic efficiency and weight distribution, various high-temperature components are tightly packed within the car's bodywork, often very close to the driver.
Like what?
For example, the hydraulic lines running around the cockpit can operate at temperatures as high as 120 degrees Celsius or 248 Fahrenheit.
Boiling point and beyond, right next to the driver.
Yep. Components like the power steering system, electronic control units, the engine itself, and the energy stored the battery, which is often located beneath the driver, continuously radiate massive amounts of heat.
Yeah, and the brakes must generate a lot of heat too.
Immense heat. The carbon fiber brake discs on an F1 car can exceed 1,000 degrees Celsius during operation. That radiates significant heat into the surrounding structure, including the cockpit.
1,000 degrees Celsius. Okay, so the heat sources are everywhere.
And to make matters worse, for fire safety, drivers have to wear multiple layers of Nomex fire-retardant race suits, balaclavas, gloves, and helmets.
Which is vital for safety, of course.
Absolutely vital. But that gear also acts like wearing a heavy winter coat in that sauna. It severely impedes the body's primary cooling mechanism, the evaporation of sweat.
So the sweat can't cool them down effectively.
Exactly. It effectively traps the heat, making the internal environment even more punishing. And it makes that 3 to 5 liters of fluid loss per race even more understandable because the body is just desperately trying to cool itself.
This harsh environment clearly pushes the body's thermoregulation to its absolute limit. And that must have direct, often severe consequences for performance, right? It's not just discomfort.
Oh, it's absolutely crucial for performance. It's far beyond simple discomfort. Faced with such a harsh thermal environment, the driver's body undergoes dramatic physiological responses, pushing the thermoregulatory system to its absolute limits.
We talked about the massive fluid loss, already 3 to 5 liters, 2 to 5 kilos of weight.
Right. And that's primarily sweat, as the body desperately attempts to dissipate heat.
What does that do to their core temperature?
Well, this constant battle against heat leads to a significant rise in core body temperature. Despite the body's best efforts to cool down through sweating, under sustained heat stress and intense physical exertion, the core body temperature rises significantly.
Do we have data on that?
Yeah, in that study we mentioned earlier comparing real racing to a simulator, the driver's core temperature on the real track climbed to 38.5 degrees Celsius.
That's 101.3 degrees Fahrenheit. That's a fever.
Essentially, yes. And crucially, this was a full degree Celsius higher than their core temp in the simulator, clearly demonstrating how severe the real-world heat load is. A sustained high core temperature like that brings the body alarmingly close to the brink of heat exhaustion, which can be genuinely dangerous.
And this heat and dehydration directly leads to performance degradation, doesn't it?
Absolutely. Research clearly shows that a mere 2% loss of body weight due to dehydration is enough to cause significant impairment.
What kind of impairment?
We're talking muscle cramps, increased fatigue, slower reaction times, and critically severely impaired cognitive function.
Like concentration and decision-making.
Exactly. Concentration, judgment, decision-making all start to degrade. This is incredibly critical because it means that in the final stages of a race, when victory often hinges on the smallest details and the driver is pushing for that last tenth of a second, they are typically in their worst physiological and cognitive state due to heat and dehydration. The risk of error increases dramatically.
So those last laps are a monumental test of will and, I guess, how well they've managed the heat.
Precisely. And again, for Sonny Hayes, who would already be facing an uphill battle against age and time, managing this heat and dehydration would be a make-or-break challenge. His body wouldn't have the adaptations.
So if the cockpit is a mobile sauna, and this heat has such severe consequences, it can't just be about toughing it out. There must be scientific, systematic countermeasures in place.
Absolutely. It's turned heat management into a strategic battle, as important as aerodynamics or engine power.
How do they win this cooling war? What are the strategies?
Combating these high temperatures cannot be accomplished by willpower alone. It requires a comprehensive, scientific, and systematic set of strategic countermeasures. F1 teams and drivers treat heat management as a crucial performance key.
What's the first step? Training.
A crucial part of their pre-race preparation is heat acclimation training, or HAT.
Training in the heat deliberately.
Exactly. Drivers intentionally train in hot environments like specialized heat chambers or even just saunas to allow their bodies to adapt to heat stress in advance before they face it in the race.
How does that help physiologically?
After heat acclimation, the body actually adapts. It begins to sweat earlier, the sweat volume increases, so more cooling potential, and the electrolyte concentration in the sweat actually decreases.
So they lose less salt.
Right, which means they maintain their electrolyte balance better. All this leads to more effective heat dissipation and better maintenance of core body temperature during the race. It's a physiological adaptation that gives them a measurable edge.
An edge Sonny Hayes would definitely need to acquire quickly.
Absolutely. It's a critical advantage.
Okay, heat training. What else? Hydration must be key.
It's an incredibly precise hydration strategy. It's a scientific endeavor that spans the entire race weekend, not just during the race.
How does it start?
Days before the race, drivers begin a planned regimen of high fluid and electrolyte intake. The goal here is to put the body into a state of hyperhydration before the race even starts.
So they start the race already overhydrated.
Essentially, yes, creating a buffer against the inevitable dehydration to come. During the race itself, F1 cars are equipped with a drink system.
Right? The little tube they drink from.
Exactly. Typically a 1 to 1.5 liter fluid bag containing a carefully formulated drink.
Just water.
Oh no, it's not just water. It contains water, electrolytes like sodium and potassium to replace those lost in sweat, and often carbohydrates for sustained energy during the race.
Smart. A complete refueling drink.
And here's a neat trick. To keep the drink as cool as possible in that incredibly hot cockpit, teams often freeze the entire drink bag before the race.
But freeze it solid.
Yeah. It then thaws slowly during the competition, providing a refreshingly cool drink for as long as possible.
Clever. And post-race.
Post-race, immediate replenishment of fluids and electrolytes is crucial for rapid recovery. It sets them up for the next day's training or debriefs or travel to the next race.
What about actual cooling tech? Vests or suits?
Yes. Teams also leverage cooling technology. Before the race starts, while they're sitting on the grid waiting, drivers will often wear a special chiller vest which circulates a cooling liquid over their torso. This helps delay the rise in core body temperature for as long as possible before the intense heat of the race truly begins.
Giving them a head start on cooling.
Exactly. And furthermore, for extremely hot races, the FIA has begun to mandate or promote the use of even more advanced driver cooling systems.
Like
specialized cooling suits that contain maybe 50 meters of microtubing woven into the fabric. This tubing circulates a liquid coolant throughout the driver's body to actively cool them during the competition.
Wow, like a personal air conditioning unit?
Kind of, yeah. These complex and resource-intensive countermeasures underscore that heat management in F1 is a critical battle for performance, no less important than aero or engine power.
It's a fundamental problem to solve.
Right? A team that can better manage its driver's body temperature will have a driver with a clearer mind and faster reactions in those decisive final stages of the race, often the key to victory.
You also mentioned body fat earlier. How does that link to cooling?
That's a really interesting link. A driver's extremely low body fat percentage, typically below 12%, it actually functions as a crucial personal cooling system.
Lower body fat helps you cool down.
Scientific research indicates that athletes with lower body fat percentages generally have a more efficient physiological response to heat stress and better heat dissipation capabilities. Less insulating fat means heat can escape more easily.
So the strict diet isn't just about car weight.
It's not just about meeting the car's weight limits. It's also about optimizing the driver's own thermoregulatory ability, an indispensable part of their personal performance engineering. It establishes a strong intrinsic link between their diet, body composition, and their ability to tolerate extreme heat.
Fascinating. Okay, so to withstand all these incredible stresses, the G's, the heat, the physical exertion, sheer talent isn't enough. It has to be built on a scientific training system and a meticulously managed fuel plan.
Absolutely. It's not random exercise. It's a precision blueprint for battle.
What's the core philosophy behind their training?
The training philosophy of an F1 driver revolves entirely around functionality and specificity.
Meaning?
Unlike bodybuilding, which might focus on muscle size or aesthetics, every single exercise they perform has a clear, direct purpose to enhance their performance inside the cockpit and to resist the specific stresses imposed by the F1 car. Nothing is wasted effort.
And it changes throughout the year, right? Periodization.
Exactly. Their training plan is not static. It follows the principle of periodization, precisely divided into different phases. In the preseason off period, the focus is on developing and building a strong physical foundation.
Building the base fitness.
Right. Then, during the long, grueling race season, the focus shifts to maintaining that fitness, targeted race preparation for specific tracks, and ensuring rapid recovery between events.
So they adjust intensity based on the schedule.
The intensity and volume of their training are finely tuned daily based on the race schedule, the extensive travel involved, and the driver's individual physical condition, monitoring fatigue levels closely. It's all about maximizing athletic potential while meticulously avoiding overtraining and injury.
And a lot of this happens off the track, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Because testing is so limited.
That's a crucial point. Because F1 regulations strictly limit on-track testing time, drivers have to build most of their physical reserves off the track in gyms, on bikes, using simulators, in specialized training facilities.
So the gym work is where the real foundation is built.
Absolutely. Their out-of-cockpit conditioning is critically important. It's where the foundation for their race day performance is truly forged. For Sonny Hayes, this means his comeback isn't just about driving. It's about an intense, immediate, and scientifically backed training program that would push his body to its absolute limits, basically recreating decades of evolution in driver fitness in a compressed time frame.
Okay, let's break down the training components. Cardiovascular fitness.
Cardiovascular fitness is the absolute foundation. It's crucial for maintaining concentration and stamina throughout a 2-hour race, and also vital for promoting rapid post-race recovery.
How do they train it? Just running.
They commonly use a variety of cross-training methods. This builds comprehensive cardiorespiratory function while avoiding the repetitive strain injuries that can come from focusing on just one sport.
So what kind of activities?
Common activities include long-distance running, road cycling, which is very popular, swimming, and rowing. In the winter, cross-country skiing is an excellent full-body endurance workout that many drivers incorporate.
Can you give an example of a specific workout? Like the cycling?
Sure. A typical cycling interval session, maybe on a high-tech Technogym skill bike or similar, might look something like this. Start with a 30-minute progressive warm-up,
Okay.
followed by multiple sets of high-intensity intervals. For example, maybe 5 sets of 30-second all-out sprints designed to simulate a series of intense corners where quick power is needed, interspersed with, say, 5 sets of 90-second high-intensity rides, closer to race pace, simulating multiple laps.
With recovery in between.
Of course, broken up by steady-state recovery periods. The session would then conclude with a 30-minute low-intensity cool-down. It's a very structured, precise approach to build both anaerobic power and aerobic endurance.
Okay, cardiovascular covered. What about the specialized strength training we talked about earlier?
Right, strength training is highly specialized, designed specifically to combat G-forces and the immense forces required for controlling the car.
Beyond the neck, core, legs, and upper body stuff.
Yes. In addition to conventional strength training for those areas, they use highly specialized equipment. The Technogym F1 trainer is a prime example.
What does that do?
It's a unique machine that can fully replicate the F1 driving position, the specific seat angle, pedal position, etc.
Yeah.
It features a weighted steering wheel, providing resistance, and a cable resistance system connected to the helmet for neck training.
So you can train steering and neck strength simultaneously in the driving position.
Exactly. All in a static but incredibly specific environment. This machine can even simulate the constant vibrations of the track and is used to help drivers with track memorization and simulation during their off-track training.
Wow. That's incredibly specific.
Right.
Anything else? Flexibility, agility.
Definitely. To improve reaction speed, enhance mobility within that tight cockpit, and crucially, prevent muscle strains, drivers extensively incorporate flexibility and agility training into their routines.
Like stretching.
Yes, but often more dynamic practices like yoga, Pilates, and dynamic stretching routines. These help them move freely and efficiently, maintain good posture, and importantly, reduce the risk of injury, both from strain and in the event of an accident.
It sounds like a truly holistic approach. But the race week itself is relentlessly packed.
Yeah.
Recovery must be just as crucial as the training.
Absolutely. It's a 365-day commitment to peak performance, not just a weekend gig.
Describe that race week intensity.
The life of an F1 driver is a relentless global campaign. A typical race week kicks off on Thursday and continues flat out until Sunday evening. It's packed with practice sessions, qualifying, the race itself.
And tons of other obligations.
Oh, yeah. A myriad of media interviews, sponsor events, technical meetings with engineers. It's nonstop. And the end of the race on Sunday, that's certainly not the beginning of a rest period.
No time off.
Often, on Monday, despite being physically battered and exhausted from the race, they have to immediately engage in recovery training. By Tuesday or Wednesday, they might already be flying to another circuit for development work in the simulator, or testing, or preparing for the next race.
It's an unrelenting schedule.
Totally. It demands constant attention to the body's state.
So in such a packed schedule, recovery is indeed as important as the training itself.
Just as important, if not more so, at certain points in the season, their recovery protocols are equally scientific and varied.
What do they involve?
Things like active recovery, low-intensity exercise like walking or light swimming immediately after exertion to promote blood circulation and help clear metabolic byproducts like lactic acid.
Makes sense.
They work immediately with a team physiotherapist after the race for massage and targeted stretching to relieve muscle soreness and tension.
What about things like ice baths? You hear about those?
Cold therapy, definitely. Using ice bath or whole body cryotherapy chambers is widely employed to suppress inflammation and accelerate muscle recovery.
And sleep. Must be tough with all the travel.
Rigorously structured sleep is critical. Teams have sleep specialists to help drivers cope with jet lag and manage physical fatigue, ensuring the body and mind can fully recover for the next demanding challenge. For Sonny Hayes, whose older body would likely recover slower, meticulous recovery would be paramount to avoid injury and burnout.
This whole system sounds like proactive adaptation.
That's a great way to put it. This intensive training and recovery system reveals a core principle: preemptive adaptation. Due to those strict limits on on-track testing, drivers can't build their fitness through racing like many other athletes can.
Right. They have to be fit before they get in the car.
Therefore, they must artificially synthesize the race environment in the gym, on the bike, in the simulator. Their physical condition is not a byproduct of racing. It is an absolute prerequisite for competing, built entirely through highly targeted scientific simulation training.
So equipment like that Technogym F1 trainer.
It's the ultimate embodiment of this principle. If you can't get enough time in the car, you must bring the forces of the car into the gym.
And like the car, the driver's body requires precision fueling. Every bite and sip isn't just casual eating. It's a calculated strategic deployment.
You're absolutely right. It's performance engineering through nutrition.
How does that translate into their daily diet?
Well, in Formula One, where you have these extremely demanding requirements for weight and endurance, the driver's body is not just a biological machine. It's viewed as a precision system that requires meticulously managed fuel.
Like managing the car's fuel and cooling.
Exactly. Their diet and hydration strategies are just as rigorous and scientific. Every bite of food, every drop of water is carefully calculated to achieve a perfect balance between energy supply, weight control, and thermoregulation.
And that ultimately translates to track performance.
Directly, it can translate into tenths of a second on the track.
What are the main goals of their nutrition plan?
An F1 driver's nutrition plan has to serve two core objectives, which can sometimes seem contradictory but need meticulous balancing. First, fueling for performance.
Covering that huge energy expenditure.
Right. As we've mentioned, drivers expend a massive amount of energy, with daily caloric needs ranging from 2,000 to 4,000 kcal, depending on the day's activities. Their diet must provide ample energy, especially from complex carbohydrates that release energy steadily.
Why steady release?
To ensure stable blood sugar levels throughout a 2-hour race, this prevents drops in stamina and concentration that can happen with energy depletion or sugar crashes.
Okay, fueling. What's the second objective? Sounds like the tricky one.
Second, and this is crucial in F1, ultimate weight management. In F1, weight is truly the enemy of performance. Every single component of the car is engineered for lightness, and the driver is absolutely no exception.
They have to be super lean.
Extremely lean physique, typically body weight under 70 kilograms, about 154 pounds, and an astonishingly low body fat percentage, usually below 12%.
Why so strict on weight?
It's partly to comply with the minimum total weight regulations for the car and driver combined, but also for crucial physiological performance reasons.
Like the heat regulation we talked about.
Exactly. A lower body fat percentage significantly helps the body regulate heat more efficiently, which is absolutely crucial in that scorching cockpit. So the real art of a driver's diet lies in consuming enough calories to maintain peak athletic performance while keeping body weight and fat at an extremely low level.
That sounds like a constant tightrope walk.
It requires expert guidance from team nutritionists and immense self-discipline from the drivers themselves.
So what does a race week meal plan actually look like? How do they achieve that balance?
It's strictly planned, usually managed by the team's dedicated chefs and nutritionists traveling with them. They adhere to precise macronutrient ratios.
High protein.
Protein intake is high, yes. Essential to repair muscle fibers damaged during training and racing and to promote strength gains. Typically about 1.6 to 2.0 grams per kilogram of body weight per day.
What kind of protein sources?
Primarily low-fat, high-quality options like fish, especially oily fish, rich in omega-3s for anti-inflammatory benefits, and lean poultry, such as chicken breast. Red meat is usually limited or avoided.
And carbs for energy.
Carbohydrates are the main source of energy, yes. But drivers choose complex carbohydrates with a low glycemic index,
Right.
meaning they release energy slowly and steadily, avoiding those sharp fluctuations in blood sugar that could impact concentration and stamina during a race. Think quinoa, brown rice, oats, sweet potatoes.
And fats.
The fat content in the diet is strictly controlled to a minimum. A high-fat diet can reduce the body's athletic efficiency and obviously makes weight management harder.
Is there a forbidden list? Foods they just can't touch?
Oh yeah, there's a strict forbidden list, especially during a race week. Junk foods, red meat often falls in this category. Fried foods, sugary desserts and drinks, and alcohol are typically completely banned or severely restricted.
So what might a typical race day menu look like?
Okay, maybe something like oatmeal with berries and nuts for breakfast. For lunch and dinner, perhaps grilled fish or chicken breast with a large salad and plenty of steamed vegetables, and a small portion of brown rice or sweet potato.
Sounds healthy, but maybe a bit repetitive.
It can be. Discipline is key. Between meals, they'd supplement with things like protein shakes, fruit, or specific energy bars to maintain consistent energy levels without adding bulk.
And hydration. We covered that preloading, the in-car drink.
Reiterate that hydration and electrolyte replacement are a lifeline for performance and even safety. The strategy begins days before the race with hyperhydration. The 1.5-liter drink bag in the car is critical scientifically formulated water, electrolytes, carbs. And post-race, the first priority is immediate replenishment to kickstart recovery from that extreme dehydration.
So pulling it all together, nutrition is way more than just health food.
A deep dive into F1's nutritional strategy leads to one powerful conclusion. A driver's diet plan is not just for general health, it is a high-precision performance engineering tool.
Engineering the body through food.
Exactly. The extreme pursuit of low body fat is a direct strategic response to physics, the total car weight and thermodynamics body heat dissipation. This means the nutritionist's menu is arguably as important to performance as the aerodynamicist's blueprint.
Wow. The food on their plate directly affects lap times.
It directly affects the car's weight distribution, the driver's ability to resist heat exhaustion, and their ability to avoid cognitive decline in the final crucial stages of a race. So yes, it impacts lap times, and let's not forget,
Right.
consistently maintaining such a precise diet plan throughout a grueling global tour of 24 different countries and regions with all the travel and different food environments, that in itself is a tremendous test of discipline, planning, and team support.
It really highlights the 365-day, 247 commitment required. It extends far beyond the racetrack.
And it's another huge adaptation Sonny Hayes would have to make immediately. The discipline around food is intense.
Okay, we've talked about the physical, the cardiovascular, the heat, the nutrition, but the ultimate battlefield in F1, especially hurtling along at 300 kilometers per hour, has to be the mind.
Absolutely. This is where it gets really interesting because all that incredible physical preparation, ultimately it serves to protect and enhance mental performance.
Well, how so? What are the key cognitive demands?
You're absolutely right that the demands push the brain's cognitive functions to the very limits of human capability. First, just consider lightning-fast reaction times.
They have to be quicker than average, obviously.
Elite-level quick. Data shows their simple reaction time is around 200 milliseconds.
0.2 of a second.
Yep. Whereas an average person's is typically between 500 and 600 milliseconds, more than twice as slow.
And that difference matters hugely at F1 speeds.
That fraction of a second difference is the key to avoiding collisions. Seizing tiny overtaking opportunities, reacting instantly to changing track conditions like a wet patch or debris. Multiple studies have also confirmed that racing drivers perform significantly better than average drivers in complex choice reaction tasks.
Where they have to choose the right response.
Exactly. Selecting the correct response from several options, all under immense time pressure, they process and react faster.
But it's more than just reactions, isn't it? It's processing everything that's happening.
Oh, the real cognitive challenge, and arguably the most immense, is the massive information processing load.
The data deluge you mentioned.
Exactly. Every single second of the race, a driver must simultaneously process this data deluge from multiple channels.
Like what? Give us examples.
Okay, they're receiving dynamic feedback from the car, feeling the grip, the balance through the steering wheel, and the seat. They're constantly listening to tactical instructions and information from team engineers over the radio. They're monitoring complex data presented on the dashboard display. They're assessing ever-changing track conditions, grip levels, oil patches, debris, and crucially, they're tracking the position and dynamics of up to 19 other cars around them.
All at the same time, while driving at the limit.
All simultaneously. They must instantly integrate all this disparate information to make judgments that can mean the difference between victory and defeat, or even life and death.
Someone famously called it.
Playing a game of chess at 300 kilometers per hour, and the difficulty is immense, the cognitive load is just extraordinary.
Does this intense long-term training actually change their brains?
There's evidence suggesting it might. Research on fighter pilots, another group of experts operating in extreme, high-speed environments, found observable differences in the white matter structure of specific brain regions compared to the general population.
White matter. The brain's wiring.
Essentially, yes. And these differences correlated with superior cognitive control. This suggests that long-term specialized skill training, like that undergone by F1 drivers for years, could actually reshape the brain's neural connections to support higher levels of cognitive performance and processing efficiency. Their brains might literally be optimized for the task.
Wow. Okay, so to handle that kind of data deluge and make those split-second decisions under pressure, you need more than just raw intelligence. You need unshakable mental toughness.
Absolutely critical.
It sounds like they're training their minds as rigorously as their bodies. Another psychological mountain Sonny Hayes would definitely need to conquer.
They absolutely are training their minds. Many top drivers and coaches openly state that F1 is essentially a mind game, requiring 100% concentration on every single lap. Any laps can be disastrous.
What are the core psychological traits needed?
Elite F1 drivers typically possess several core psychological traits that set them apart. First, unshakable self-belief.
Supreme confidence.
A deep-seated conviction that they belong at the top, that they are the best, with almost no room for imposter syndrome. Even after major setbacks, like a crash or a poor result, they possess an extraordinary ability to quickly regain their confidence and focus entirely on the next challenge.
Okay, self-belief. What else?
Second, superior emotional regulation. No matter how angry, frustrated, or nervous they might feel inside, they have to control those emotions so they don't negatively affect their judgment and actions on the track.
Because emotional decisions are bad decisions at 300 kilo pH.
Exactly. In F1, irrational decisions driven by emotion are often catastrophic, leading to costly errors or even dangerous crashes. Think road rage, but with millions of dollars and lives at stake.
Right. And the third trait.
Third, they demonstrate a highly disciplined focus. The ability to clear their minds of all external and internal distractions and become completely immersed in the now of driving.
Achieving that flow state you hear about.
Precisely. Transforming their hard-earned driving skills into an instinctive, almost meditative flow state where performance becomes seamless.
How do they train these mental skills? It's not like lifting weights.
No, but it's just as deliberate. Modern F1 drivers widely use advanced psychological training methods, often working with sports psychologists. Visualization is a key technique.
Picturing success.
Much more detailed than that. Before a race or qualifying session, drivers will close their eyes and mentally rehearse a perfect lap or various possible race scenarios in minute detail.
Like what detail?
Everything. The braking points, the turn-in points, the apexes, the feeling of the car, the gear changes, even potential overtaking opportunities or how they'll react to a safety car. This mental rehearsal helps build a subconscious guidance system, preparing the brain and nervous system for the challenges ahead.
Any famous examples?
Four-time world champion Sebastian Vettel was known for this, often seen sitting in the car with his eyes closed before driving. Current Ferrari driver Charles Leclerc is also known to practice visualization extensively.
What about other techniques? Meditation.
And yes, meditation has also gained traction as a tool for mental training. 2016 world champion Nico Rosberg famously revealed that he used daily meditation during his championship-winning season.
How did it help him?
He said it helped him train his focus and gain better control over his mind. Meditation helped him learn to recognize negative emotions like pressure or frustration, acknowledge them without being consumed by them, and then consciously shift his attention back to more positive, performance-oriented thoughts.
Mastering the inner game.
Exactly. This level of mental preparation would be absolutely crucial for Sonny Hayes. Not just to relearn tracks and techniques after 30 years, but maybe even more importantly, to overcome the psychological scars of his past crash and handle the immense pressure of such a dramatic, high-profile comeback.
This raises an important comparison. How do F1 drivers stack up against other elite performers in high-stress, high-speed environments, like fighter pilots?
That's an excellent question, and making that comparison offers a really enlightening perspective on the unique athletic attributes of an F1 driver.
What are the shared traits?
Well, both F1 drivers and fighter pilots share many obvious traits. They operate incredibly high-performance machines at extreme speeds, they endure significant G-forces, and they require top-tier cognitive function and mental resilience to perform under intense pressure.
Okay, but what are the differences? What makes F1 unique?
Despite these similarities, the challenges faced by F1 drivers are unique in several key aspects. Let's look at the G-force characteristics again.
How do they differ?
While a fighter pilot may experience higher instantaneous G-force peaks, sometimes up to 9G or even more, they are typically aided by a specialized G-suit.
Right, the suit inflates to stop blood pooling in the legs.
Exactly. It inflates to prevent blood from pooling, thus maintaining blood flow to the brain and preventing G-induced loss of consciousness, or GLOC. F1 drivers, on the other hand,
No G-suit.
no G-suit. They endure 2 hours of repeated multi-axial G-force impacts without that aid. The G-forces in F1 are generally lower peak than a fighter jet, but they are much more abrupt, frequent, and multi-directional braking, cornering left, cornering right, occurring dozens of times per lap. This demands far greater muscular endurance, especially in the neck and core, to counteract them continuously.
Okay, G-force profile is different. What else?
Then there's the operating environment. Pilots operate in the vast, relatively uncrowded expanse of the sky. 3 dimensions, lots of space.
Right, F1 is much more confined.
F1 drivers compete in an extremely crowded 2-dimensional environment, often just centimeters away from concrete walls, barriers, and crucially other cars, all at incredible speeds. This requires a more refined, faster-reacting form of close-quarters spatial awareness and incredibly precise judgment in proximity to other competitors. The margins for error are practically zero.
Good point. Sky versus crowded track. What about controlling the machine?
And finally, consider the physicality of control. The force required to manipulate a pilot's control stick or rudder pedals is significantly less than the 150-plus kilograms of force an F1 driver must apply to the brake pedal, or the immense steering force needed to fight G-loads through fast corners.
Much more physical effort from the driver.
Way more direct physical input required. And remember, studies show F1 drivers have significantly stronger necks than military pilots, directly correlating to the unique G-force demands of their sport.
So how would you summarize the unique F1 challenge based on this comparison?
This comparison truly reveals the unique nature of the F1 driver's challenge. It is an extreme combination of prolonged endurance, like a marathon runner, high-intensity strength output, like a power athlete, and sustained close proximity danger perception and reaction beyond even what pilots face constantly.
It really brings it all together.
And ultimately, we must recognize the physiological and psychological aspects of F1 driving are a tightly linked feedback loop. Extreme physiological stress, like the heat, the dehydration, the crushing G-forces, directly impairs cognitive function. We know this from science. Therefore, the extensive physical training drivers undertake is not just about getting stronger or faster.
What's its fundamental purpose then?
Its fundamental purpose is to build a physiological buffer zone, to push back the point at which physical stress starts to degrade mental performance. It's about protecting the brain's ability to function normally under extreme pressure.
So a fitter driver is literally a clearer thinking driver under pressure.
Exactly. A physically fitter driver is inevitably a driver who is clear-headed, more precise, and less prone to making errors in the decisive moments of a race when fatigue sets in. The body is the platform that carries mental performance. And as motorsport engineering and physical training become ever more advanced, and all drivers reach peak physical condition, the strength and resilience of the mind is becoming the final and perhaps most critical competitive advantage on the F1 grid.
So after this deep dive, listening to all this, it's unequivocally clear. Formula One drivers are far, far more than just riders. They are truly extraordinary athletes operating at the very pinnacle of human capability.
That's precisely the conclusion we have to draw from the evidence. We've dissected this from every angle, haven't we?
We really have. Let's recap the key points.
Okay. Their cardiovascular systems, rivaling those of marathon runners, sustaining heart rates in that high-intensity zone of 140 to 170 BPM for 2 hours straight, burning up to 2,000 kilocalories in a race, losing 2 to 5 kilograms of body weight through profuse sweating due to the heat.
Then the superhuman physique.
Forged to combat extreme G-forces of 5-7G. Next, supporting an effective weight of 40 kilograms, legs repeatedly applying over 150 kilograms of force to the brakes with, as we said, concert pianist precision.
Operating in that 60°C mobile sauna.
Battling extreme heat stress through scientific heat acclimation, precision hydration strategies, and cutting-edge cooling technologies.
All underpinned by science.
Underpinning all of this is that highly scientific, specialized training blueprint and a nutrition plan as precise as a surgical instrument, designed to build a body capable of withstanding every extreme challenge F1 throws at it.
And finally, the mental game.
And finally, we've argued that all this immense physiological preparation ultimately serves the mental endgame conducted at over 300 kilometers, where they leverage reaction speeds nearly 3 times faster than an average person, process that massive data deluge constantly, and rely on ironclad mental fortitude honed through visualization and other techniques to make life or death decisions in milliseconds every single lap.
The core argument really seems to be that confluence of stressors.
Exactly. That's the central argument of this analysis. Unlike many elite athletes who challenge maybe 1 or 2 dimensions of physiological limits in their specialized field, think the pure endurance of a marathon runner, or the explosive strength of a weightlifter, or the intricate coordination of a gymnast. The uniqueness of the F1 driver is that they must simultaneously, in the same incredibly demanding venue, confront an accumulation of extreme pressures from multiple dimensions at once.
And the comparison data backs this up.
When we compare F1 drivers to other top-tier elites across key metrics, it's striking. They face high to extreme challenges across all 5 key areas we looked at: cardiovascular load, G-force, environmental heat stress, cognitive reaction load, and functional strength. They aren't just excelling in one or two areas, they are pushed to their absolute limits across the board, all at the same time.
So the final verdict.
Therefore, the final conclusion is unequivocal. Formula One drivers are meticulously forged, scientifically sculpted, comprehensive, all-around elite athletes. They possess the heart of a marathon runner, the G-resistance and reactions of a fighter pilot, the functional strength of a power athlete, and the decision-making mind of a chess grandmaster.
All rolled into one.
All fused into a single, high-temperature, high-pressure competitive environment. They are not just driving a race car, they are driving the very limits of their own bodies and minds, representing one of the most complete, complex, and highly evolved examples of athleticism that modern sports science can witness.
And that brings us perfectly to our provocative thought for this deep dive.
Okay, let's hear it.
Considering the extraordinary, multifaceted athleticism required just to compete in modern F1, as we've explored in detail today, imagine the sheer physiological and psychological mountain that Sonny Hayes faces in F1. The movie, attempting that dramatic comeback after 30 years away from a sport that continuously, relentlessly demands the very limits of human performance, is the greatest challenge in Formula One not actually the car, but the relentless evolution of the human being behind the wheel.
That's a fantastic question to leave people with. Is the ultimate performance variable the human inside?
Something to think about. Thanks for tuning in to this deep dive. If you enjoyed our content, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell.